This is garlic mustard. Now you can, when it's a younger plant, you can eat the leaves of this, although I've not had very much luck with it. I've always found it unpalatably bitter. However, the seed pods here produce these little black seeds, and these are mustard seeds. What I'm going to do with these garlic mustard seeds, what you do is you select the plants that have got the driest seed pods all the way up to the top, like this one here, and literally just do that and gather up. You get a handful of seeds and chaff. I'm just going to put it all in the bag. Let's have a close-up demo of how that works. So just run the hand up the plant like that, and you do get quite a few seeds in there. What we've done, we've picked up all of these seeds, and there's loads of seed pods here, and as you can see, the seeds have actually fallen out of the pods inside the bag. So I'm just going to do the first level of sorting here, which is we'll just get rid of all of that. There might be one or two seeds in there, but I'm not too worried. So we'll just chuck that back in the hedge, and if there's one or two seeds there, then we've helped the plant to spread itself around, so we kind of paid it back a little bit, which is just fine by me. So I'm just going to get rid of most of the chaff there. There we go, and then we've got pretty much clean seeds there. Need a little bit of secondary cleaning when we get home to blow the rest of the small pieces of chaff out of there. But at least I haven't got to carry home a great big bag of chaff, that's fine. Right, so back at home I've just tipped those mustard seeds into this plastic pot, and I'll leave that open for a couple of reasons. One is just to let those dry out completely. The other is to let any bugs and little insects crawl away from here before I do the next round of processing. Okay, now to separate these seeds from the little bits of debris and chaff that are in there, I'm just going to put them in this dish, and then I'm going to take it outside and just blow on it, or let the wind blow, to blow away all the lighter stuff. It's a bit like gold panning really. The seeds are heavier than all the debris and the bits and pieces I want taken out. All of the chaff will just blow away. Just a few seeds in there that don't belong. They're seeds for something else. Some other weed we must have picked up. And tiny little snail or something. Okay, so I've got my nice cleaned mustard seeds. I've picked out all the foreign bodies. Just seeds in there now. And now I'm going to grind these up to make mustard powder. Now, this isn't going to give me a fine-grained mustard. It's not going to be like your yellow mustard that you put on hot dogs. This is going to be a whole grain mustard still, because these seeds are, this is a wild seed, and there's a fair old bit of husk in proportion to the actual kernel of the seed. So, but that's fine. I like whole grain mustard. So I'm going to give this a good grind. Getting somewhere. Look at that. That's actually turning into a powder now, definitely. Let's keep going. Get it as fine as I possibly can. Right, I think that's probably fine enough to make into mustard. Like I say, it's going to be a whole grain coarse mustard. So let's put that all into there. Let's just have a look. Yep, I think that's going to be fine. Right, so to make this ground mustard seed into a mustard condiment, we need several other ingredients. So I've got some oil. I'm actually going to use hazelnut oil. I've got a little bit of cider vinegar. I've got some water, and we'll give it a little grind of salt as well. So we'll put the salt in first. A little bit of salt. Probably about a teaspoonful of hazelnut oil. I'm going to use probably about another teaspoonful of cider vinegar to start with, and a teaspoonful of water, and we'll just mix that together. It looks like it might actually be enough liquid to start with, but you've got to make allowances for the fact that this will absorb some of the liquid into the fibres of the seeds. so it will get drier over time. So that looks pretty good. Yeah, I think we'll just give that a little bit more vinegar. Just maybe half a teaspoon more of vinegar. So there we go. And that doesn't really look much like mustard at the moment. It's not going to go yellow because these are black mustard seeds from wild garlic mustard plants. So it's going to be a funny brownish yellow looking mustard, and it's going to be a coarse texture as well because it's a coarse grind, and as I say, they're quite fibrous little seeds. So there we go. That's probably about right, I would say. Let's just give it a little bit more water. Now, the curious thing about mustard is that if I was to taste this right now, it would probably taste quite mild and probably not very much like mustard at all, actually, because it needs time for a chemical reaction to take place between the water and the mustard seed, the chemicals in the mustard seed. So it will not be pungent at all if I was to taste it now. So what I actually need to do is to leave that to sit for probably 8 hours or so. And during the course of that time, it will increase in pungency and it will start to get some of its mustard heat. So I'm just going to decant that into a little pot now, and then we'll wait for tea time. So I'm just going to transfer that into a small dish now because it needs to sit to gain potency. And then a little later on, we'll taste test that and see what it's like. But just to prove a point, I'm just going to taste a little bit now. And it's got not an awful lot of flavour. It's a little bit bitter, but it's not really very much. It tastes of mustard, but it hasn't got the heat of mustard. So, just going to cover that up with cling film. Put that in the fridge and let that sit for 4 or 5 hours. Okay, so this is my garlic mustard condiment that I made. So let's have a go at this. I've got a sausage pie here. Sausages and mustard is a good combination. So let's take a little bit of this mustard. It's interesting, it's very firm texture. And let's taste a little bit of this mustard on that sausage. Here we go. So, oh, it's got quite a kick, which it didn't have earlier when I tasted it. Yeah, wow, that's got quite a kick. It's also got a fantastic, really deep, earthy, nutty flavour, which you don't get from normal mustard. So it's actually quite a unique flavour. But wow, it's got quite a mustard kick to it. So there we go. So that is my garlic mustard condiment.